Welcome back, everybody, to the NRG Series 10K Modern Showdown. We're entering round number 4 now. We had 162 players kicking off this morning. 8 rounds of Swiss before we get to that top 8. First thing on every player's minds, they want to get in that top 32. They want to get in with the prizes. The cash prizes start at number 32 and go all the way up from there. But a lot more Magics we played, Mason. You know what I mean? We've got 4 more rounds after this one. So that's 5 in total for everyone that's really quick at math. I'm clearly getting slower the more that we're doing this. I'm Will Hall. That's Mason Clark. Mason, up to this point, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking we've seen a lot of very interesting Magic. I'm very excited to see sort of how the leaderboard point race goes. I think we have our players to watch to go take a look at that and see exactly where everyone's at. And okay, this field's starting to separate a little bit. A lot of 2-1s on the board here and a couple 1-2s. So everyone before this round was 1-1 except for Fletcher Johnson. Fletcher took an L. A bunch of people took a win. All right, the leaderboard point race is getting shaken up a bit.
Right, well, we've got the players shuffling up, down on the table at the minute, so we're going to move straight down to that and show you our main feature match of the round. We have got Simic Ritual versus Ruby Storm. Now, with the Simic Ritual deck, you said it's going to line up pretty good against these combo decks. Is this a deck that is going to go, pretty heavily favored towards the Simic Ritual?
Yeah, I mean, your deck is full of, force negations, flare denials. This is the kind of stuff you want to fight over. Your opponent trying to resolve 1 or 2 key cards. So in this case, like Ral or Ruby Medallion is like how you easily do it. That's going to be really easy for Kamari to fight over and the Simic Ritual deck in general. Now, Ruby Storm is really powerful. When we look at the data on Ruby Storm quite often, the confidence interval is often quite high because it doesn't see a ton of play and its matchups are very polarizing, right? Because it can sort of, win any matchup if, it has the right hand, even on turn 2 sometimes. Much harder than a deck like Amulet to turn 2 them, but it is doable. So Jake here, is sort of under the gun. And if Jake knows Kamari and knows that Kamari likes this deck, qualified for the Pro Tour with it at the last regional championship, is really taking a liking to it, could end up in a very bad spot. So a lot of tough cards in the deck. Kamari is still on 5, though. That's going to help. Even Endurance, by the way, a card that can be very punishing in this matchup if timed correctly.
Yeah, dealing with the graveyard. Obviously, we know Storm Titan tested it. Used to be blue-red, and then it changed a little bit to some other stuff. But realistically, now we are a straight red deck with a little bit of splash of white for some sideboard cards to answer, the hate cards that have been brought in against us. And that's mainly because of, is it the new Ral that got printed, right? 2-drop Ral. It's a mana reducer, just like this. And we're going to see a Nicole. Oh, maybe we're going to do Ice Fang into some sort of counter magic here.
Yeah, well, you're Icewind Coatling in response to Ruby Medallion because whether you have Flare Denial in hand or not, you're going to do this either way. The turn's over for the Ruby Storm player. So get this into play, see what you draw, and then decide if you want to flare this. You probably do, or force it. But yeah, you just want to get your card draw either way.
And normally that's a 2-for-1 against us, right? But because we were able to draw a card off the Ice Fang, that kind of makes it 1-for-1.
Yeah, I mean, you spent a card, right? Like either way, but the card at least replaced itself. So it's awkward, right? Like it is a 2-for-1, but it feels less bad, right? Because the idea behind an Icewind Coatl is it's a 2-for-1, right? Like you draw a card and then block with Death Touch to gain advantage. That's sort of like its pitch. So it all breaks out in the end. We do see Harbinger of the Seas come down. Weirdly, even though this is like basically a mono red deck, you'll see here that, we do have some light splash that's come back to haunt us a bit. And you have some fetches. Okay, so there were 2 basic mountains. So we are going to be able to potentially go off here.
Here comes the Ral that I was speaking about. Another Flare is going to deal with that. Sacrificing a blue creature. You know what I mean? How key is it to stop these mana reducers in the Ruby Storm deck?
It's the whole ball game, right? Like those mana reducers are what allow the Storm deck to have these absolute crazy turns. Their rituals are not strong enough to really, power through on their own in early games. If we hit 15, 16 turns, they can do that kind of stuff. Heck, maybe even 10 turns. But these early game turns are going to be really important for just making sure that one of those things doesn't come down, as the deck is a lot of just mana and ways to move through the deck.
Storm decks of the past had the mana reducers, but with something like Goblin Electromancers, etc., but could win without having a mana reducer, just by being able to hit their land drops and potentially go off that way with a large hand size. Is that basically where the plan C that Jake might be on now, with no mana reducers, both been answered, but is able to hit his land drops, advance his mana again, cause a strike it rich? We do see an endurance come down and suck everything away. So even though we're on a mode of 5, it's not going too bad right now.
Yeah, it is totally like. So this is a spot where the mold of 5 is hurting Kamari because we've had to, use the flare twice, right?
Mhm.
But we have the ritual, we have the endurance, we kind of save some space there. And the endurance wasn't as premium as we would have liked. It makes Past in Flames a little worse, but nothing, to really write home about. But we really want to get the birthing ritual trigger, which makes a lot of sense. From Jake's side, like you were speaking to, though, you actually don't have a ton of time if Kamari is reasonably lucky with these birthing rituals, because the Oculus will get found and it will take over the game. So Jake has like a turn or two to set up, but needs to kind of fight sooner than later because Kamari will rebuild answer spells eventually.
Great shot off the top of the deck. I do like that we fetched in response to the birthing ritual trigger to get the surveil, because if there was a Harbinger got found, we wouldn't have been able to do that. So I like that, timing of when not to fetch.
Yeah, and we're seeing Jake just sort of looks like he just kind of drew and is sort of like, am I supposed to maybe grape shot this Coiling Oracle?
I was going to ask you this. I was like, are we going to grape shot this to get a creature off the board? Yeah, 1 point of damage and go. Fetch end of turn, going to surveil ourselves. We're just looking for creatures at this point, right? Just bodies to put on the board. Start you utilizing this birthing ritual. The best one I would say probably right now would be an Oculus, because our graveyard's also filled up.
Yeah, Oculus is nice. You would really love to high roll, like Coiling Oracle, hit a flare, or hit a Force Negation, and then turn that into an Oculus, but you're never going to complain about a 5/5 flyer here.
Well, we kept the card on top off the surveil. It's going to be an Ice Fang. Gets a card deeper. Remember the 1/1 that works really well, Snow Basics. Then we're going to use our birthing ritual, look at the top 7, see if we can upgrade this to a card of CMC 3 or more. No, we're just going to almost replace itself with an Oracle. Another 2-drop. 1/1, when it enters the battlefield, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land card, you can put it into the battlefield. If it's not, you put it into your hand.
Shardless.
That's a nice one when you got birthing rituals on the post. So time is slowly running out for Jake here, but we found one of our cost reducers off the top of the deck. A ruby medallion has just been found.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. Will Jake go for it this turn? Depending on his hand, it could make a lot of sense. You want to go before Kamari has time to find more and more answer spells, but also saving it in order to go on a specific turn makes some amount of sense too. I think I like jamming more than anything, but I kind of like this from Jacob. Let's surveil, see what I hit, and then maybe, I'll like bin a Past in Flames or something, or hit some specific card that allows me to potentially go off. So tight play here from Jake. Oh, Strike It Rich
into the bin. And are we seeing Strike It Rich is in this deck to enable us to be able to go off a turn sooner? If we can lead off with that turn 1, that will give us into turn 2. Potentially, we can start comboing off for a win.
Yeah, you can then, play a cost reducer, sack the treasure, play your ritual, and now you can start playing your things, right?
Here is...
Sorry?
No, I was going to say, here's the ruby medallion coming down, and it looks like it's going to stick.
Yeah, there's so few cards in hand for Jake. Kamari would probably fight over this, but I like this from Jake because even though we don't have a win right now, you just set it and pass, right? Like counter magic is most of what Kamari has. So just making sure that you get down the reducer means now puts a lot of pressure.
I think that was an Oculus. I think that was an Oculus off the top. But
it was a Sink into Stupor.
Oh, was it? Why do I keep making those up today?
I don't know. The Oculus is a huge eyeball. And Sink into Stupor is like a lady in the water.
We found 2 of them, though. The 2 of them went to the bottom of the deck with that cascade.
Yeah. Luckily, though, with 2 birthing rituals, you see 14 cards a turn. So we will get back to the bottom of that deck ASAP.
I think we've got a subtlety in hand. So in case a Ral was to come down, we've got potentially an answer to that. Now the triggers are going to happen. That one was an Oculus. If I just keep saying it, eventually it'll be right.
Yeah, you're right. This was Oculus. Boom. And honestly, hitting a card like Endurance here wouldn't be the best, but it wouldn't be the worst. You just clean up the graveyard a little bit. You want another Oculus. Coiling Oracle, kind of a reasonable find too. Is that Fibblethip? That's Fibblethip, I think.
I think that might be an alternate Fibblethip, which is of course going to get us 2 cards deeper because it wasn't cast.
All right, so Fibblethip moment here. Get some extra card advantage. Something this deck plays is sort of a body to sack to flare. But also right there, you can kind of chain in the value. And this deck does 2-for-1 itself a lot.
That was great. That was almost one of the cards that we needed. I think it was a resolve that we found. Yep.
Mhm.
So we get to cast that. We were missing this element of the deck, a way to kind of turn through and draw more cards. The only thing we've got in hand is the Manamorphose, I believe. That there is a test. Is that double test of talents we hit?
Double artist talent.
Artist talents. So test talents is the blue one, isn't it? So
yeah, that's a counter spell.
I just picked some of these up myself, actually, because I've been playing a little bit of Pioneer recently, and this is quite a good card in a Phoenix deck, so I like to play it.
Yeah, Artist Talent's very nice. Just pull it up here.
So it's three different modes, right? The first mode we've got is whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you discard a card, and if you do, you can draw a card. For 3 mana, you can reduce all your spells by 1, your non-creature ones, and then 3, your spells basically do an extra 2 damage when they go upstairs to the face.
And this last mode, Will, that you're mentioning about is super important because it allows you to kind of storm off from a smaller base and actually grape shot. You only need storm count 5 if you get to level 3 on the Artist Talent at the current life total for Kamari.
Turning your lava darts into lightning bolts seems pretty good.
Yeah.
So we're going to draw a card off that Manamorphose. A couple of mana is going to be in the pool. But now when we start casting even these redundant lands that we draw, we can just be discarding these to this test of talents. That's the other one. That's the impulse being cast now. So exile top 2 again.
Got to loot first, though. Got double looties.
Yeah, get rid of that land. We don't want that. I think that was a ritual we found.
So from this point, Kamari really wants to fight over cards like Past in Flames. That's like a big thing here.
Did you get a look at any of the cards that we found in the hand there? Off the
for Jake or for Kamari?
Kamari.
No, it looks like he kind of drew them close to the chest, so not sure what's in their hand.
Finding another impulse is great. Let's just go further for the deck again.
Here's Ral. Ral plus Ritual is interesting. You can even just do something. This is a sort of a crazy person line, but like just pass and then hope next turn to start going. It's awkward because you've kind of gotten the green light from Kamari here. And so your Ral, if it does flip, does sort of get you where you need to get going.
So here's Ral. Now, we do have a subtlety, so we have an answer for this. How much of an answer it is, I'm not sure, because obviously we're able to draw cards, discard the cards with these artist hands. So if we put it back on top, they can just draw it again. But we are going to fire it off, do what we need, do what we must. There's a subtlety on that Ral before it resolves. Jake's got 1 card in hand. I think is it a ritual?
It's a ritual, yeah.
But then if we ritual, we can't discard, which means we can't draw. So we'd have to use, I don't know how much mana is in the pool right now, but we'd have to use that impulse to then draw a card to the Ral. Is that even worth it? Or do we do what you said and set up for next turn?
Yeah, you could also you can even like level up your talent. I mean, it would be a double reduce, or I guess a triple reduce now with all these room medallions and potentially as options, but
we are putting it back on top. 1 mana into even more mana. Not sure how much is flowing, but definitely at least 3 now in the pool. No cards to discard and draw. So now we're going to use the Reckless Impulse, reveal the top 2. It's going to be lands plus Ral.
Yeah, and there's no more spells to flip the Ral. So you can put the Ral in play.
There's the Strike It Rich in the graveyard.
No, it got... Oh, sorry.
We got build over, didn't it?
Yeah. I was going to say we Endurance before.
All right, 50% chance.
Yeah, if this flips here, it could all be over for Kamari.
Now, did we need to high roll this turn? 4, that is...
yeah, I don't know. You definitely need to flip because Kamari's giving you the green light, right? Oh, it looks like we're counting loyalty.
So imagine it did flip then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus the 2 talents came in this turn as well.
Yeah, the talents. This track your Storm from the start, old Storm players. Come on, give me a break. But yeah, I mean, so like you said, the 2 talents plus the cards accounting, plus the Strike Your Rich we just flashed back, plus the Ral twice because you tried to cast it once, then it got subtlety again. Homeboy is flipping, but obviously Ral doesn't count for his own loyalty things. but it does count towards Storm.
Yeah, it's only instant and sorceries that actually count to his like total, but the actual storm count itself has got to be pretty large at this point. But Jake's all in now. Like, we could have done what you were saying and kind of waited up till next turn, but we are all in. It is going to come into play flipped. How many counters are going to be on it, and how much mana is still left in the pool is the other one.
Well, Ral makes all the spells free. Looks like Ral has 7 loyalty.
That's not enough to ultimate.
It's definitely not. And you have this Oculus and stuff. I can't help but feel we have misstepped if we made this line that was not able to flip the Ral to begin with. Call it a hunch. Obviously, the range resolve, etc. Oh, we're gonna minus.
Oh, what is the minus on Ral? Let's have a little look.
Deal 2. It's electrolyze.
You can draw a card. You can draw a card.
No,
right?
only if you have a blue permanent.
Oh my god, we don't even. I mean, does it? And he doesn't count himself then.
No, of course not. Otherwise, that would just be draw a card, right? You wouldn't write the text on the card. All of the MH3 flipwalkers have the other color thing, like a Johnny, right? And then Tamio with the green mana. They all tie into their other color identity.
End of turn.
Look like how different the turns are for Kamara's untap, attack. All right, time to do some stuff. Back to you soon, friend.
Go again.
Yeah.
Draw a card. Then the second one's going to hit. And if we can find an endurance, how many are we going to play? Are we playing in the main here? We've seen one already. There's 2 in the main. And we've got to think we've had so many triggers this. We must have seen at least one at this point. But we're going to Charlotte's Agent.
And yeah, I'm sure. Well, yeah, we did the one. Maybe it's also in hand too.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Kamara gets the Cascade. Looks like Kamara maybe thinks. Oh no, you don't Cascade. Excuse me, it wasn't cast. Pardon me.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be really strong.
Right, what does Jake need off the top to get back in this now? Another resolve, another impulse, a glimpse of the impossible, even a Manamorphose. All right, we found an impulse. That's gonna show a Ral and a Valakut Awakening.
Yeah. You had so much life. I wonder if you're supposed to spend this turn as Jake leveling up your talent. And just like keeping your card in hand. That way you can start rummaging for. Yeah.
Subtlety is going to come in on this Ral. Hard cast as well, which picks the clock up. So that's now going to be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Still not lethal unless, I guess, no, even if that is an Oculus under there, it would only be 15 points of damage.
Yeah, the nice part about 15, though, is that the Ral has to always flip correctly.
Oh, yeah, true.
So, Valakut Awakening will draw a card.
Do we know it's the we know it's the Ral, right? We put that on top.
Mm-hmm.
We are living life on the edge here. Play the land for the turn. Play the medallion, maybe.
Yeah, I don't hate to play the medallion.
Oh no, you could level up, I guess.
Well, I think the level up's 3 mana, right?
Yeah, we got 2 treasures at the bottom of the screen.
Oh, sure, yeah. If you're willing to, yeah, I mean, you could do that. I do think. I think you have to maybe hold this Ral so you can like discard it to like find Past Inflames. Like I think you're gonna win by Past Inflamesing. Oh, we actually bombed the Ral. Okay, so Glimpse is on top of our deck. That's huge. Right.
So look at the top 4. Is it no top 3?
Great art.
Can also make some blockers if needed. Yeah, shout out to Justine. I'm a little sad that my One Rings were the alternate art that Justine did. Got them signed. They looked all beautiful. I can't play the card.
Go play Legacy.
I'm debating doing it purely just so I can play those cards again. But we found a land. We've already had our land drop for the turn, a ritual, and another Valakut's Awakening.
Well, these are different stacks. Don't want to get those confused with like what's going to be a spawn and what's not. There we go. But I don't think you can do anything from here because I don't think we had any mana floating. I guess we did the treasures, but like it doesn't. You're just not going anywhere. You like Invalid Awakening to draw a card, but
I think you've got it right. I think like we need cards in our hand to do anything. Starting next turn with 2 in our hand is going to be better than 1, and with then you need the other 2 turning to spawn tokens. At least we can block some stuff, keep our life total slightly higher. And I don't like it, but I think that's like I've hit myself with my back against the wall. I need to do it, but looks like Jake's deciding we're going to get some mana going here.
Okay, I like this. If you are going to do this, play the ritual. Well, maybe playing the rituals back because you don't get the spawn. But playing the ritual puts in the yard for the piff. So
we're hoping we get another card. The card off the top is going to be a
Manamorphose. You Manamorphose into a ritual.
I think it was a ritual we hit.
Okay, well, we have that for next turn. You have 1 mana in your pool, I believe. You could use Treasure to play the Ruby to make the Past in Flames cheaper.
But then if that was our line, we could have just leveled up. We've done the same thing. But then be a reduce it if we were to level it up to chapter 3, I guess. But Jake's deciding. You know, he's had I imagine a few reps of this deck so far today. So got to try and navigate him out of this equation he's put himself in. And he is going to play the medallion. And then if it is a pass the turn, we'll make 1 Eldrazi's spawn token at the end of it. That land will get turned into it, which could be a nice blocker or a bit more mana next turn if for some reason we needed it. We know those spawn tokens are in the feature match area. There we are. Now, what can Kamari do? How can we stop this as much as can? I feel like, again, as I mentioned, endurance would be really good to stop one of the best draws that Jake could have. There's some forced negations floating around. We've seen a couple of flares, but there's still a couple of those floating around as well at the minute. 3 mana. Shardless Agent. Go Cascading. Find an Oracle. Oracle's going to reveal the top card of the deck. It is a Subtlety, so that's going to go in the hand. Now Jake knows about that. Another card for him to play around. Turn everything sideways. 5, 8, 10, 12.
I mean, we talked about it before. The RAL can, mess you up.
Go to end step. That was one of those was a flare. One of those was a forced negation. But they don't get revealed to your opponent. That is a Fibblefip. So another 2 cards going added to the hand. Now we're going to use the second Birthing Ritual. Top 7 again. We find a Subtlety. We're basically we've put it down to Jake. You need to win this turn. Like there is no if, buts, or outs. You need to win this turn. 14 life, 1 card in hand, and whatever this is on top of the deck. Flips it. Had a little look.
The interesting thing is, no matter what it is, due to the ritual, you get 2 redraws from the Artist Talents, right?
Oh, I think it was Past in Flames.
If it is Past in Flames, that is huge.
It's Wish, which is, let's have a look at the sideboard. Is a Past in Flames.
Yeah.
Ditches the ritual for it to go a card deeper. Wish you may play a card you own from outside of the game this turn. Did we hit the one we needed?
Yeah. Well, maybe. If Kamari has Force Negation, you would wait for this all to resolve, I think, just to tie up mana in case the last card in hand.
We do not have Force Negation. I saw both of them through the Birthing Rituals getting flipped, so that we definitely don't have them. The only thing we haven't seen is the Endurance. That's the card that's on my radar at the minute. Maybe the Force Negation.
It's Sink into Stupor.
That's also good.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's good enough because of the double Ruby Medallion. Right? The second Ruby Medallion came in really clutch here.
So we can pay 2?
Yeah, I mean, you have 3 mana. As long as you have 1 red to start the chain, and you have Caverns and the Spawn to pay the colorless. Yeah, you see Kamari's picking it up.
Come on. Off the top of the deck, Jake gets there with that Past in Flames, the exact card he needed from the Wish, being able to take that game down.
Well,
Did not see that coming. Carrying on that mode of 5, did everything possible they could to get to it, and unfortunately was not enough. But we get to go to the sideboards now, so let's have a little look at his list and what they got in that sideboard. What do you like?
yeah, I mean, you're just gonna want cards like Endurance. You're gonna want, like, I mean, Endurance is the easy one, right?
Sold.
You can bring in Force of Vigor, you can bring in Dispute, but they're not very good. By the way, I think Kamari missed Lethal because he flipped over an Oculus as his tapped card.
No,
it was the other one.
Wasn't. Well, if he did flip an Oculus, it would have put him to 1.
Oh, 1. Oh,
Yeah,
sure. I see. Okay, my bad.
I did the math.
Okay, nice. I was thinking 5, but yeah, I mean, this matchup's just good, right? So this is not one you have a ton of cards for. You can bring in a couple things to fight a couple cards, but you're not losing much sleep. You have Endurance. Just, don't mulligan to 5. You'll probably be fine. Even if you do, you almost won like that game, right? It's just very simple. We've had a lot of very by the book sideboarding games, and that's fine. This is what you want to have happen, right? You want to run into tournaments where you don't have to sideboard a lot. You want your sideboard to feel useless. That's a good day.
Well, what about over on the other side? What about on the on Jake's side, this Ruby Storm list, and what the sort of cards on this sideboard do you want to be bringing in this matchup?
So Orange Chant's a great way to make sure that like you work through a counter spell / when you get going, you've won, right? But you're also a wish deck, so maybe you want to leave in one in case you want to wish for it. I doubt that. I imagine you bring in all 4. And I think that's probably all you really want to do. If there were some amount of prismatic endings, especially to potentially fight over cards if you're unsure what the opponent has, that makes some amount of sense to me. But I expect us to kind of keep it simple here for Jake. You don't want to over sideboard. Your deck is a very like kind of well-balanced, well-tuned machine. Don't overdo it. Keep it simple. And it looks like our players are already done sideboarding, so I think they have to agree.
I think that's good advice, and I think a lot of players, or like newer players, to be fair, even some well-versed players tend to over sideboard a lot and go, "I saw my sideboard cards, but I didn't win the game." And it's because they're diluting their A game of how to win the game. Yeah, you got to do sideboard pieces. You stalled the game enough, but your opponent was able to go across the line because you weren't able to finish it out. Where we're seeing Kamari here taking a mole down to 6, Jake keeping that 7.
Yeah, Kamari accidentally just started to draw or whatever, and it was like, oh wait, I gotta give you a chance to cut. So did a little bit more shuffling there.
Consigns came in.
Yeah, so that makes sense if you wanted to fight over the medallion like we talked about, but also you can stop, like a Ral transform trigger.
And Storm, right?
Yeah, and Storm. So it's pretty good. It's weird because it doesn't always work, but it's pretty good.
Gemstone Caverns in the opener always feels great when you pull it off. So you're not on the back foot when it comes to being on the draw. You get the man advantage. It's almost like you now to get the extra card, plus you get to play a turn ahead.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say we didn't exile a card to the Gemstone.
I was literally just thinking that. I went,
yeah,
maybe I haven't played this card in a while. Do you get it for free? I'm pretty sure you have to exile a card from your hand.
Yeah, you have to get an exile card from your hand. Yeah. I know that Jake drew the fetch land because we saw it on coverage. Well, at least I'm pretty sure. We can obviously clip it to find out for sure. But the judge will figure out what we're supposed to do. I know that.
I think it's going to be a Thoughtseize from my opponent. I think.
Yeah, I think it is going to be a Thoughtseize from your opponent. And that could be very devastating. We know Kamari has the consign. And if you like exile a Ral, right, and then he plays like a medallion and you consign it, that's got to be close to game.
Well, while they're kind of working this out and we're talking to the judges, let's talk about the MTGO plus NRG collaboration that's happening in the next event that's going to be coming up, a chance to qualify for our end of year championships. QR codes on the screen if you want to get involved and kind of start signing up to it. But give me the general overview of this, Mason.
Yeah, we're partnering with Daybreak Games and Magic Online to bring you the NRG series from home. It's a pretty awesome event, $2,500 in cash prizes. Invite to our end of the year champs, which is $35,000. Approach our invite, 24 players only. Very exciting. This event is only for the United States and Canada this coming weekend, November 9th. That is a Sunday for those of y'all that are at home thinking about what day you could play it. And it's going to be awesome. I mean, Edge of Eternity Sealed has been a pretty cool format, pretty explored format. We've had it for a while now. We've had the Pro Tour. So I'm pretty excited to see, how players do in that. There's a lot of content out there as well. So if you haven't played it very much, you can totally lock in, read up over the next couple of weeks and get some experience playing here on the NRG series and get some points as well. For a lot of our players, this is another way to generate some points. And going into next year, if we want to pull up that slide, we are doing 4 big in-person events and 4 big MTGO showdowns. Remember, showdowns are vernacular for if you win it, you go to our end of the year champs right away. That's a 24-person invite only $35,000 tournament. Winner goes to the Pro Tour and invited back to the next champs. Pretty exciting. 4 in-person weekends. Each of those in-person weekends is going to have at least one Team 10K showdown. Nice. The formats for that will be figured out closer to the time of the event. And we have individual trials, the 2.5Ks for things like, Modern, Pauper, Legacy, whatever is kind of fun for players. We're going to head back to the feature match areas. It looks like what's happening is
I think face down, randomly putting a card back on top of the deck is the judge going there. So maybe
that's a bizarre ruling, but okay.
Ooh. And then we'll discard the grape shot to it.
Yeah. So Jake knows what the top card is. So he's basically playing with perfect information, just doesn't have the card in hand at the time. So the only way it's bad is if it's the card you wanted to exile. Whatever. That's life. We got it.
Welcome.
Yeah, that's life.
And we decided not to play the medallion there into the open blue mana, which is, we kind of telegraphed it a lot. We had to take 3 points of damage to get that blue mana in. It's either a big heads-up play to make Jake play around something that's not there, or we do actually have it, and Jake decides, don't want to be running my medallion into it.
Yeah.
One thing on the MTGO, remember, if you are taking part in that, you get yourself a free draft, you get the new players upgrade kit as well. So there's never been a better time to sign up to MTGO to then start taking part in the NRG events, if that's the way to go. If you can't, travel every weekend, it's a great way to play Magic. Plus, you get to practice during the week for when those weekend events you do travel to, like the NRG series. Finds a Glimpse of the Impossible. See at the front of the hand, we do have a mountain. I see a Manamorphose, a Past in Flames.
Glimpse is pretty nice here if you want the spawns, but otherwise it's just, make 3 spawns, pass.
Back to Kamari. Forest and Go. So it could be representing Force Negation here. Could be having Endurance. Could be a Sink into Stupor. Could just be an Ice Fang, Nicole. We're going to start to turn off by casting this Glimpse of the Impossible. Remember this one, if it does resolve, we'll exile the top 3 cards of the library. It does. So these are going to get exiled for the turn. We can play them till the end of the turn. If we don't play them, they'll get exiled themselves, and then we'll get an Eldrazi spawn token for each one. So we're going to play the land for turn. Kai says sure. And then end of turn, make 2 tokens.
Pog.
And then the Endurance is going to happen. Oh, do they go to the graveyard? God, that's
I thought they were exiled too, but yeah.
Next turn. Yes, graveyard, even better.
Yeah. And now Kamari has got a threat in play. We can start playing that classic Delver game of I have a threat, I have answers. I'm going to just nickel and dime you and, fight over the things that matter.
And there for free of this Endurance. That's the easy bit. And I think we're just passing the turn again. Jake's going to go fetch up. You've got to imagine it's a Surveil land at this point. Can manipulate the top of our deck. What decks do you think really benefit the most, or is the most benefited deck of these Surveil lands in Modern?
I'm so sorry. What was your question?
Which deck in Modern utilizes the Surveil lands the best?
Living End. They have no 1-drops and 1 things in the yard.
All right, no, I thought you were going to get Goyos. I thought you were going to say Goyos. That's where my mind's at.
It's not a bad deck.
I love Living End as well, by the way. That's another one of my favorite decks to kind of play. Nope. Consign's going to stop that. Do we have a second one? Jake's played down it the whole time. We do. You can see it pulls to the front. That was what we drew for the turn, I believe. Kamari's just kind of sat back in his chair, postures back. Maybe that's a bit of a sell. Jake's thinking about it. Are we just... We're going to pass?
No, I think we're thinking about like if we wanted to sack the spawn to have red mana to go.
Another one is going to stop it. So that's 2. But kind of like game 1. We're just stopping all the mana reducers. But at least we've got a little bit of pressure now. Not as much as we would like, but 3 a turn is going to be enough over, if we can keep this up. We do have a lot of disruption cards in our deck with those force negations, flare denials, ice fang Nicole's, subtleties, etc. Pass the turn again. No land drops. Draw in the turn for Jake. Draw for turn. Manamorphose, Awakening, Impulse, and a Past in Flames in hand, along with a land. Staff, Impulse. Chant and Row.
That could be an issue. I think Ringe Resolve says until your next turn. So we might even see this turn just be,
A setup turn.
Yeah, just you maybe just even land pass. And then next turn start on Chant and have it eat a counter spell. Or if it doesn't, you probably win.
The way Jake was playing, he's been playing pretty aggressively, not really like trying to set up for the turn before. He's kind of either going all in on one turn or not. Be interesting to see how he plays about this, if he wants to go a little bit slower. Yeah, just going to play a land pass, and we are going to try and go for that big turn next turn. How is Kamara going to be able to respond to that? What can we do to try and mess that turn up, so to speak? We didn't see anything flashed in at the end step. No Ice Fang Nicole.
There's an Ice Fang in hand now, part of the draw for the turn. I say there's a world where you maybe play it just to like get the redraw and try and find like a Coiling Oracle or a land drop, But don't mind holding it as well. Sort of, oops, I don't have Flare. It also just hard cast Flare.
That's an Impulse off the top.
I mean, you're starting this turn with Orbs Chant. That is happening no matter what goes on because you want Kamari to definitely play a counterspell on it. All right, boom.
Into the flare, so no Orange Chant. We can still cast spells, but we're limited to what we can have now. We can only realistically have a subtlety, a force negation, or maybe even mystical dispute, I guess, if they were going to come.
Building.
I was about to say, or a scolding, which did have and did come down. Impulse is going to be our last card. Reveals Impulse and Manamorphose. That's 2 good ones to hit.
Yeah, and this was, Jake obviously wishes things went a little differently, but this is why that last turn was so important to like have the chance set up for it. Because now, Kamari had exactly 6, so that's pretty huge. But now it's like, okay, I'm working through a lot of these things, and I get to keep setting up, and eventually I'll go for it as I have this Past in Flames in my hand.
Flare Denial goes to the bin. Are we just saying that if you've got it, you got me? If you don't, I've got lethal on the board. Like I'm almost out of cards at this point. Sees a Row, sees a ritual, plays the Row. Now we've got a mana reducer. Subtlety check. It says resolve. Jake's got to be happy to see that. Manamorphose.
Okay, I was gonna say Dismember right now. I think it's the last time where we have a good chance to respond and it'd be beneficial for us. You could force negation Past in Flames. All right, seems like even is the number where Jake is not even's winning essentially.
Not high low.
Yeah.
Up to 4 mana. Roll again. Look, Jake's only at 5.
Yeah, he's 4 life to go. If he has Shocklands, I mean, you have a basic amount. Okay, I was gonna say if you only had Shocks in your hand too, that could be frustrating.
Manamorphose again. Row trigger again. Get down to 3.
All right.
At what point would you stop casting spells?
Never. I have to cast spells to win. I'm dead on board. I cast spells until I die or they are dead. No one can stop me.
Still got the land drop for the turn as well, remember? Trying to get all the information we can at this point.
Just
passing
passing?
flames.
Yeah. We're going up 1 mana on the Morphos every time. Okay.
Wow, trigger.
Come on.
Okay.
All right. So
No
you
damage.
could flip, but if you flip, you don't get the ultimate.
Yeah, I think it's 4 is the storm count right now.
Yeah, I think so too.
But it is going to flip. Don't want to risk any more life happening to us.
And I think Jake's probably a pretty big favorite to win here. Because you can use Ral's ability to make your instant sorcerers cost 1 less. And then, like you said, we think we have a land drop. So you'll land into Manamorphose. And then Manamorphose into Ritual, into Ritual, into the Ritual, and then
Turn the wheels. Sure.
Yeah.
But we haven't seen a wish, and the grape shot is exiled.
Yep.
So, but no, we have a lot of looks. We have a lot of
looks. Yeah. And we're generating a lot of mana. There's like 3 Ren Resolve S cards in the graveyard, so that's going to be another 6 cards. You can also find artist talent type things that will help you move through your deck even more.
Top 2. Medallion. There's the wish. I would have for the handshake here. I'd bet cool. Unless one of our last cards is a consign, and we're able to consign the storm trigger.
Yeah, consign the storm trigger might be good enough here. Depends on how much mana everything that Jake has. If Jake just tries to cast all the cards that we can cast, I have to assume that we have enough mana to wish, get the grape shot, shoot the grape shot, you know. What is happening? Oh, Jake's just saying I have multiple wishes. Yeah, and that's gonna do it.
Scoop in there. I get it. Takes a long time to get there, but we got there in the end. So congratulations to Jake, advancing to a 4-0 record. Halfway there, because we've got 8 Swiss rounds for you today. But what we also got is a backup feature match for you. Of course we do, with the NRG series. But apparently we're going to go have a break quickly while we do that. Okay. Right, well, we'll come back shortly after this break, and we'll bring you some more Magic the Cavern. Don't go anywhere.